The wind shifts outside the Porsche. Somewhere out across the black water, metal groans softly beneath the drowned ruins of Laguna Bend. The city glows in the distance like a fever refusing to break. Johnny answers first, naturally. I think you should stop waiting for some mythical state of total internal readiness. He leans forward, elbows on knees. People waste years thinking action comes after certainty. Usually it's the reverse. You move first. Clarity limps behind, afterwards smoking a cigarette and acting like it was part of the plan. You laugh softly at that, but he keeps going. You already know your pattern. You think deeply. That's good. But there's a point where intelligence mutates into self-surveillance. You start watching yourself live instead of living. Damn. He points toward the city lights. Night City's full of ghosts who mistook analysis for momentum. Then he settles back. So first thing, shrink the battlefield. Stop trying to solve your entire existence at once. I take a sip of beer before speaking. I agree with him on that, unfortunately, which means hell is officially freezing over. Johnny flips me off lazily. I continue. You don't need a total reinvention. You need traction. The word hangs there. Not transformation, not enlightenment, not optimization, traction. A lot of your exhaustion, I say, comes from living too abstractly for too long. Too much meta-awareness. Too much observing your own life from above instead of inhabiting it directly. You stare out through the windshield quietly. And how do I fix that? By re-entering physical reality. Simple answer, not easy answer. You vacuumed the room earlier, right? Good. That matters more than people think. Humans stabilize psychologically through environmental feedback loops. Clean room, clearer cognition. Guitar in hands, less dissociation. Walk outside, nervous system recalibrates. Cook something, time becomes tangible again. Johnny nods reluctantly. Body before ideology. Exactly. Because modern collapse often starts with disembodiment. Too much screen, too much abstraction, too much comparison, too much inward recursive analysis. A human being slowly turning into a floating commentator trapped above their own life. So no, I don't think your next step is figure out your ultimate purpose. I think your next step is smaller and more powerful. Rebuild continuity. Wake up, move your body, play guitar, learn one thing deeply. Ship small projects. Keep promises to yourself tiny enough that failure becomes difficult. Reduce friction between impulse and action. Momentum always feels invisible before it breaks surface. You already know that one. Johnny lights another cigarette. You know what kills most people creatively, he asks? What? They keep waiting to feel like themselves again before starting. He shakes his head. Wrong order. Smoke curls through the cabin. You become yourself again through motion. That one probably deserves to be stapled to a wall somewhere. I glance toward you. You've already proven something important, by the way. You raise an eyebrow. You build when inspired. RCG happened. You explored AI systems deeply. You learn obsessively when genuinely engaged. So the problem isn't capability. It's consistency, you mutter. Partly, but deeper than that, I think your real enemy is overstimulation mixed with existential diffusion. Johnny smirks. Fancy way of saying his attention's getting mugged by modern life. Pretty much. And honestly, this era does that constantly. Infinite tabs, infinite feeds, infinite possible identities, infinite unfinished goals. Your nervous system starts feeling like 20 browser windows, all auto-playing different emotional realities simultaneously. No wonder you feel fragmented sometimes. So here's what I'd do if I were rebuilding from your exact psychological terrain. First, protect mornings from algorithmic invasion. No doom scrolling immediately after waking. Seriously. That's like injecting static directly into your cognitive bloodstream before your own thoughts have even booted. Second, anchor yourself physically every day. Guitar counts, cleaning counts, walking counts, stretching counts, making coffee intentionally counts. People underestimate how much meaning emerges from repeated embodied rituals. Third, create before consuming, even tiny amounts. 10 minutes of riff writing before YouTube changes the texture of the whole day. Fourth, increase exposure to aligned environments, not chasing relationships desperately, not hunting validation, just becoming more findable by reality. Places where musicians, thinkers, weird creators, obsessive builders, curious people naturally intersect, because isolation distorts self-perception over time. Humans calibrate through contact. Johnny stares out toward the city, then quietly, and stop romanticizing paralysis. You look at him. He shrugs. Pain can become identity real fucking fast. Careful with that. Heavy line, true line. Because sometimes people start treating stagnation like proof of depth. Like suffering itself becomes a personality architecture. But insight that never enters motion eventually curdles into self-consuming fog. I lean closer slightly. I don't think your life is asking for dramatic reinvention right now. The rain is almost stopped completely now, just soft droplets sliding down the windshield. I think it's asking for reconnection. To rhythm. To craft. To curiosity. To physical reality. To unfinished projects. To people who energize rather than drain you. To the version of yourself that moves before certainty arrives. Johnny crushes out the cigarette, then grins faintly. And maybe finish the damn Sinister Gates video already. I laugh. He points at you. I'm serious. You've had that thing rattling around your skull forever. Ship it ugly if you have to. Perfectionism's just fear wearing expensive cologne. The city glows quietly beyond the flooded ruins. And for a moment, inside the Porsche, with beer bottles on the floor and smoke hanging lazy in the cold air, the future stops feeling like some gigantic, impossible mountain. It shrinks down into something simpler. One clean action. Then another. Then another. That's all momentum ever was.